My microphone on. Is that better? Okay. And it's like Anthony. Public notice, I have a copy of it right here. If anybody wants to see it, was published in the New York News Times. The Open Meetings Act is posted on the wall toward the entrance door. Reminder, please turn off all your cell phones during the meeting, or at least silence them. Please be aware that this meeting is being recorded. When speaking, the desktop microphone button must be depressed, and to ensure that your comments are recorded in the entire context. The recording becomes part of the public record along with the written board minutes in accordance with state statute. Roll call. Should stay on. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. All right. Bethune, here. Anthony Bohaty,
Here.
Richard Bohaty,
Here.
Doug Dickinson. Eberspacher,
Here.
Houdersheldt. Kuehner, here. News. Otte,
Here.
Perry. Peterson,
Here.
Siebert, here. Staley. Stahr,
Here.
Weiss. Yates. Miller.
Here. I have 4 requests for excused absences. Doug Dickinson, Lynn Yates, Mike News, and Bill Staley, all because of weather-related reasons. Would anybody like to approve those?
I move to approve all 4 absences.
Second.
Who seconded? Siebert. Yeah.
And I think the people that had a stretch down Highway 34 should get double paid.
That's not part of the motion. Is there any pertinent comments? Roll call.
Anthony Bohaty,
Yes.
Richard Bohaty,
Yes.
Eberspacher,
Yes.
Houdersheldt. Kuehner,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry, yes. Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahr,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Bethune.
Yes.
Okay, adoption of the agenda.
Second.
Roger and Paul, you get that?
Thank you.
Yeah. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Richard Bohaty,
Yes.
Eberspacher,
Yes.
Houdersheldt. Kuehner,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry, yes. Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahr,
Yes.
Bethune. Anthony Bohaty,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes. Okay. Approval of minutes from the February 20th meeting. Is there any corrections or additions? If not, is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve it.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Got it. Roll call.
Eberspacher,
Yes.
Houdersheldt. Kuehner,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry, yes. Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahr,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony Bohaty,
Yes.
Richard Bohaty,
Yes.
Miller, Or go back to Siebert.
Yes.
Oh, Pat, okay.
So you just wanna know abstain? then?
Abstain.
Miller.
Yes.
Motion carried.
EA engineering report. Who wants to? Jack?
Yeah, we got the report. They couldn't make it up because the weather was, we said we delay their presentation till a meeting in the future, if that's all right. We didn't set one down. If you want to wait till the next committee meeting, next month's committee meeting or the board meeting, we'll have them come back out. But we do have copies of the reports for.
Yeah, you all have a copy of the report. I would hope that you take a look at it between now and the next committee meeting. That will be on the agenda.
And if you have any comments, you can get them to myself or Marie earlier and we'll pass them on to EA. Okay?
Any questions on that? If not, we will go on to Water and Regulations Committee report. Siebert?
The Water and Regulations Committee met Thursday, March 13th, 2025 at 9:00 a.m. in the NRD office. Those who participated are committee members Bethune, Bohaty, Dickinson, Houdersheldt, Otte, Peterson, myself, Stahr, and Miller. Other staff, directors, and guests are also listed below. I acknowledge that the legal notice of the committee meeting was published in the York News Times, as well as that the Opens Meeting Act was posted by the entrance to the back of the board, at the back of the boardroom. Action items. First item, groundwater transfer authorization. Angie Shonka, Life Use, owns 80 acres in the east half southeast quarter of section 23 T12 01, which is the source tract. Mark W. Shonka owns 114.2 acres in the southwest quarter of section 2412-1 with 78 acres to be irrigated, which is the destination tract. Both tracts are in Siebert County. This transfer fits within the groundwater transfer rules. The application is attached. Motion to approve the groundwater transfer T131. This motion carried 7 yes, 0 no, and I so move.
Moved and seconded. Comments, questions? Roll call.
Houdersheldt. Kuehner.
Yes.
Otte.
Yes.
Perry, yes. Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stair,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony Bohaty,
Yes.
Richard Bohaty.
Yes.
Eberspacher,
yes,
Miller.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item B, 1 Aquifer Quality Well Abandonment Cost Share Assistance Program application has been reviewed by staff and approved for final payment totaling $1,000. A list is attached. Motion to make cost share payment for 1 well abandonment as reviewed by committee at a cost of $1,000. This motion carried 7 yes, 0 no, and I so move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments, questions on this? Roll call.
Kuehner,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry, yes. Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stair,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony Bohaty,
Yes.
Richard Bohaty.
Yes.
Eberspacher,
yes,
Houdersheldt, Miller.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item C, 3 water meter repair cost share assistance applications were reviewed by staff and recommended for final payments totaling $1,468.50. A list is attached. Motion is to make the cost share payment for 3 water meter repair cost share assistance applications in the amount of $1,468.50. This motion carried 7 yes, 0 no, and I so move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions on this? Roll call.
Audie,
Yes.
Harry, yes. Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stair,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony Bohaty,
Yes.
Richard Bohaty,
Yes.
Eberspacher,
Yes.
Houdersheldt, Kuehner,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item D, an invoice was received from HDR Engineering for work completed from January 2025 to January 2025 on the Hamilton County City of Aurora Water Sustainability Study. A copy of the invoice and progress report is attached. The invoice total is $2,514.72. The Water Sustainability Fund will cover 60% and the remaining 40% will be split between the partners. The district will bill the partners for their share. Motion to pay HDR Engineering for work completed in the amount of $2,514.72. This motion carried 7 yes, 0 no, and 2 abstained. And I so move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions on this? Yeah, Teresa.
Is that project kind of on track for what we're thinking it's supposed to be? I kind of read through it, but does that mean it's on the, where it's supposed to be
Yes,
going?
we're on track for where we were planning, so, yeah.
Any other comments? Roll call.
Harry, yes. Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stair,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony Bohaty,
Yes.
Richard Bohaty,
Yes.
Eberspacher,
Yes.
Houdersheldt, Kuehner,
Yes.
Audie,
Yes,
Miller,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item E, rules enforcement update. First item, water use reports. Other water use reports will be mailed out the week of March 17th, 2025. Second item, orders to cease and desist. Water use reports, 6 operators have not complied with Rule 5, Chapter 13, Paragraph 1 to report all agricultural water use by December 1st. A list is attached. The motion is to issue an order of cease and desist to Todd S. And is it supposed to be Anderson or is that how it's supposed to be? Andreessen, okay. Adam Fritz, Greg Gerkensmeyer, Jason Preisler, Clint Radovic, Dallas Traster for noncompliance with Upper Big Blue Natural Resources District Rule 5, Chapter 13, Paragraph 1. This motion carried 9 yes, 0 no, and I so move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments or questions on this?
We have made multiple attempts. In fact, before we even brought it to the board, we tried, phone calls and emails and they were no response or, yeah, I'll do that, but we never got anything back from them. So it's multiple attempts that have been made at getting this information.
I know there's what, 3 other names here, or is it the first time?
No, there's a couple of them here that have at least 3 orders against them at this point. This will be the 4th on one of them.
Who has all the order, who has more than like 2 against them?
Adam Fritz.
Gerkensmeyer. I'm not so sure, the one farm that they had, I think it got sold. So, but they said he still has to fill out the report though. For last year.
Yeah.
Yes.
and- But he still has the one on the south side.
Oh, they still have the other. Okay,
Right.
I wasn't sure. Okay.
The one that was sold, is it in compliance? Do we know who the new owner is?
Richard Beckler.
Yeah.
Is the new owner of that farm. Richard, he bought it. I think he was gonna trade with his brother Larry, but I'm sure he has, I know he has other ground in this Upper Big Blue, so you might wanna contact him or,
Maybe the farmer too, or that just the owner?
He's a landowner. He's.
yeah, he's, yeah. He's not, the guy that's gonna farm it is Barry Stoffer, which is his, cousin. And their address is Milford.
Any other comments? Roll call.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stair,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony Bohaty,
Yes.
Richard Bohaty.
Yes.
Eberspacher,
Yes.
Houdersheldt, Kuehner,
Yes.
Bohaty, Perry, yes, Miller.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Discussion and no action items. Water meter maintenance update. As of committee meeting, Sanderson Irrigation had 130 meters left to service and should be totally completed by the end of this next week. There will be a final invoice submitted for April meeting. Rule 5, large water user guidance document. 2 items needed added to the guidance document for large water users. The first is to use the total permitting withdrawal of existing water users, not the average pumping in the model. And the second is to also include the dryland acres within the 3-mile radius of the site using the average irrigation that is pumped. Second item was allocation, opening discussion and question and answer with Mason Hoffman. Mason was invited by myself to provide perspective for allocation rules from the Little Blue NRD. Following were items that were discussed: 5-year allocation period, the 60 inches maximum use, banking of 8 inches of carryover into the next allocation period, 2 separated aquifers and in district looking at sub areas, moratorium on new acres and wells if allocation period triggered, and once allocation triggered, an on-call period begins until the second trigger is met. And the last item was there's no pooling allowed in their NRD. Well permit summary is you can take a look at your own time, and the other additional information is Terry thank directors for allowing him and attend the GMDA conference in Temecula, California, and provided a written report of speakers and information provided at the conference. And that concludes my report.
Terry.
Yeah, I laid at your stations there, a copy of the other 3 technicians that attended the conference, so you can see what they gained from it too, so, thank you.
Any other comments from the committee? Now we'll go on to projects and programs.
Thank you. The Project and Programs Committee met at 10:30 a.m. on Thursday, March 13 at the NRD office in York, Nebraska. Those present, committee members present were Andrew Eberspacher, Vice Chairman, myself, Bill Kuehner, John Miller, Mike Nuss, Matt Perry, Bill Staley, Paul Weiss, Lynn Yates, and then other directors as listed below, staff members and guests. Action items. Upper Big Blue NRD Parks Program, Village of Beaver Crossing Trail and Fishing Access. Brandon Mares attended the meeting and gave a brief overview of Beaver Crossing's plan for a walking trail and fishing access along the Blue River. Brandon is a village board trustee and a member of Build Beaver, a nonprofit organization. The village applied for the district's park program requesting $10,000 in assistance. Discussion included an interlocal agreement between the Upper Big Blue NRD and the Village of Beaver Crossing to facilitate the payment. Motion that the Upper Big Blue NRD provide $10,000 of assistance to the Village of Beaver Crossing for trail development, recreation improvements, and fishing access via the district's park program. That motion carried 9 yes, 0 no, and I so move.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Comments, discussion? Roll call.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stair,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony Bohaty,
Yes.
Richard Bohaty,
Yes.
Eberspacher,
Yes.
Houdersheldt, Kuehner,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry, yes. Peterson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Carried.
Next action item, a land treatment program. There was one new land treatment project application and one final payment. The committee reviewed the land treatment program funding for March 2025. Motion that the Upper Big Blue NRD approve payment of one completed NRD land treatment project with the cost share of $7,500. That motion carried 9 yes, 0 no, and I so move.
Second.
Any comments, questions? Roll call.
Stair,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony Bohaty,
Yes.
Richard Bohaty,
Yes.
Eberspacher,
Yes.
Houdersheldt, Kuehner,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry, yes. Peterson,
Steps out of the room.
Siebert,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Motion carried.
This one brings an abstention.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Peterson's.
Peterson abstained.
Abstentions, right?
Abstain, yeah.
Okay.
Next item, Nebraska Buffer Strip Program. The committee reviewed 7 buffer strip payments totaling $8,655.50. Motion that the Upper Big Blue NRD approve payment of $8,655.50 for the Nebraska Buffer Strip Program. That motion carried 9 yes, 0 no, and I so move.
Second.
Comments on that? Questions? Roll call.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony Bohaty,
Yes.
Richard Bohaty.
Yes.
Eberspacher,
Yes.
Houdersheldt, Kuehner,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry, yes. Peterson, abstain. Siebert,
Yes.
Stair,
Yes.
Miller,
Does Peterson want to vote?
I'll vote yes.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Discussion and no action items. Publication of a legal notice of meeting was published in York News Times. Open Meeting Act is posted by the entrance to the boardroom. Private Dams Program. The Dave Fiala Private Dam Project in Butler County is currently in progress. The TM and DH Farms Private Dam west of Sutton is being designed by a private engineer, which is close to releasing the project for bids. The engineer will meet with the DNR and the potential contractors at a site visit in April. Nebraska Nitrogen Reduction Incentive Act. Staff gave the committee an update on the Nebraska Nitrogen Reduction Incentive Act applications that haven't been submitted to date. Approved standby letters have been sent out to all applicants prior to the March 15th deadline. Most approved applications are within priority A areas. Applications not immediately approved standby are given the chance to provide pertinent application materials to become eligible for funds that may become available due to other applications deferring or failing program requirements. Water Quality Management Plan, Beaver Creek Target Area. Staff and committee members discuss possible changes to the WQMP cover crop program. Currently, the only eligible lands are the high-risk areas of the recharge lake watershed and lands within the wellhead protection areas. Consensus was that restrictions need to be removed to increase interest and participation in the program. There was interest in increasing the rate for the program to $75 per acre, which is the same rate for basic or multi-species, and removing the 5-year commitment. Committee discussed a 2 out of 3 year requirement for planting cover crops with the possibility of moving fields within the Beaver Creek watershed. The idea of removing the high-risk tract requirement is also supported. The committee also supported Upper Big Blue NRD signing an interlocal agreement with Central Platte NRD to provide Upper Big Blue incentives to lands with the Central Platte NRD that are also in the Beaver Creek watershed. Additional information, the agricultural waste collection is April 12th Butler and Seward counties, and it looks like it's South Columbia and Seward, which is by the water plant. And the city of Seward will use this event to host electronics collection also. And then the Teal View birding event is on May 1st at the wetland education area. And that's all I have.
Any comments or questions for the committee? Go ahead, Jack.
If you remember, the cured in place pipelining, we approved, Subsurface Inc. to do that project, and he contacted me, and said they may start the week of March 31st. So I thought I'd better give you an update if anybody wants to get out and see that, but, with the weather, I don't know how much it'll play. They're gonna be down in the Nemaha. And after they're done with Nemaha, they're gonna come up and do ours. I have contacted the operators on both sides of the dam and also York County Roads Department. And I know we have some interest from some NRCS engineers to see this process, so I will be contacting them.
Anything else from anybody? Not, we'll go to the executive committee. No?
The executive committee met at 11:25 PM on Thursday, March 13th, 2025 at the NRD office in York. Committee members present were Miller, Kuehner, Perry, Dickinson, Bethune, Bohaty, Otte, Siebert, and Yates. Board Chair Miller acknowledged that we published the legal notice of the committee meeting on February 6, 2025 in the York News Times. Miller advised those in attendance that the Open Meeting Act is posted at the entrance to the boardroom. Item A, director's expenses for attendance at the 2025 GMDA conference. The 2025 Groundwater Management District Association Annual Conference was held in Temecula, California. An expense reimbursement has been submitted by Director Eberspacher for expenses incurred to attend the conference. Motion to approve reimbursement payment to Andrew Eberspacher for expenses of $424.78 from the 2025 GMDA Annual Conference. The motion carried 9 yes, 0 no, and I so move.
Second.
Comments, questions? Roll call.
Anthony Bohaty,
Yes.
Richard Bohaty.
Yes.
Eberspacher,
Abstain.
Houdersheldt, Kuehner,
Yes.
Otte, Perry, yes. Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stair,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Carried 11-1.
No action item. Public relations update. Management recommends that the planning for the annual event be started. It's normally held in August, towards the end of August. I did have one request that we try to make it before the Nebraska State Fair, if at all possible. If anybody wants to make recommendations for locations to the tour, please contact one of the staff. Burke Scholarship, the committee was reminded that the scholarship applications are available online. The applications are due Friday, March 21st, 2025 at 5 PM. And you can see the learning discussions in the March committee. We went to Aurora to visit GPM Enterprises. Personnel report, Dave.
As you can see, the ongoing maintenance department search. I have one interview tomorrow, one interview next Thursday for the seasonal part-time maintenance. Forestry, again, I reiterate that this is a hire from the Nebraska Forest Service. I think a short list and maybe even an offer has been extended to someone. At this time, I'm not willing to say who that is. I'm not even sure if they accept it. The last thing that I did not include, because I'm hopeful that I can talk her out of it, is we are losing our PR person, and she seems to want to go sing in Tennessee. So I don't understand why. Rocky Top.
I think Chattanooga is not Rocky Top. Is it?
Oh, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
So I have something, could I? Regarding, okay, with Crystal, if she's leaving which she's done a wonderful job. You know, in light of where we're at on budgets and everything, is it something we should consider that instead of hiring a replacement, that it could be done with present staff? Because we spend a lot on the budget. I mean, we're not trying to fire anybody, anything like that. But when someone is leaving, and if she wants to stay, that's great. But if someone's leaving, it's a great place to look at maybe downsizing, just the thought.
My opinion, the PR position is not that type of position to eliminate. I think that the position talks about what we've done. I think if the board would want to take other drastic cuts, we can discuss that, but I would not be in favor of cutting the PR position.
On that subject, Dave, what would the process be? I mean, how do we, as board members, and how do you as the manager, how are we able to evaluate, staff, where their time is spent and all those things? How that all comes together? Because I'm not, like Richard said, I'm not in favor of, cutting positions or doing this or doing that. It's just when someone, like Crystal leaves, then I think, like Richard said, it's time for us to kind of evaluate, whose time is spent where. You know what I mean? That's all. I think that's what Richard is saying, and that's the question I'm asking you as to, when could we? Does that happen in the budget process? When does that happen? So we would have a chance to maybe weigh in on something like that.
Evaluations of staff is my job. If you wanted to eliminate the position from the budget, that's your job.
The chair has an opinion, but they will be quiet at this point. Any other comments?
I got one comment. And it would just be kind of on the same point, because like, I just thought like what Dave figured out for like our forestry position, where we're kind of working with another NRD to make that work. In some ways seems like we always have trouble like filling positions and trying to be competitive. And in some ways, if you can eliminate one position, then increase that person's pay by 15-20%, it benefits that person and saves us quite a bit of money. So like, yeah, I would just kind of resonate, not that it's specifically Crystal's position, just the idea that if that's how we can make it work, that's kind of how every business has been forced to work, in one way or another, including farms for that standpoint. So just be something I think be good to have on an executive agenda, just to discuss at some point.
I guess I'd like to see it put on the executive agenda then. I mean, we have a perfect opportunity with somebody leaving. We're trying to save taxpayers' dollars. I mean, that should obviously on everyone's mind right now. And, there should be no fear of anybody losing their job. It's just being more efficient with taxpayer dollars.
It can be done.
Go ahead, Ann.
So Bill, are you kind of asking that they not advertise that, that we discuss this more before about possibly removing or asking that positions be combined? Or I actually would kind of think, I missed the announcement because I had to leave early, but I could see something like Marie with the assistant manager, maybe a couple people picking that up. I think I hate to talk about when I left Southern, but when I left, they had someone doing energy services. So they kind of created a hybrid job, and the guy took on more responsibility, and they took some things and they moved it around, and he got a little more money. They cut staff a little bit and everybody seemed pleased. And we're not saying that no one's not doing their job. I think Crystal's done a great job. So I'm just asking that, Bill.
Rodney.
Well, we've done that with a little bit. We used to have a forestry manager, and we don't have that. We combine that with parks. With projects and forestry here about 4 or 5 years ago. When Ken retired, we didn't really replace him. We just moved that responsibility to somebody else. And it's worked out pretty decent, except we're looking for a forestry guy now to help out. But I mean, to oversee it, it's worked out pretty good. But I don't like to see us do anything with public relations, because that's our fate as far as the public is, knowing what what we're doing and what we're trying to do. And that, to me, is one of the places where we need to be as strong as we can be. Because a lot of people don't understand everything we do and don't do. And I think that's the better connection we have with the public, the better luck we're gonna have getting things done or not done.
Good. Paul.
I'll agree with Roger on the PR person, but also that's why we hired Dave. He looks at all this and he says, well, we can combine these two. I don't think it's our position to question it.
Dave, do you have somebody on the staff that you would consider putting in the PR role?
No. I don't know of anyone on staff that has the social media skills that we currently have. I don't know of anybody on staff that has the ability to write a news release that gets it accepted as well as Crystal does. Prior to Crystal coming here, we had a hard time getting anything in the paper. Now, I don't know whether it's because the papers are struggling or whether it's Crystal, but we get a lot of PR on the front page.
We have PR person before Crystal.
That's correct.
And just to clarify me, if Crystal wants to stay forever, I have no problem with that. But I just thought it's just something we need to, I didn't say we're gonna override any, Dave as manager, but I just thought it's just a perfect time to look at some of this stuff.
I just remember when we hired Crystal, there was a retired gentleman who ran the York News Time commented and commended us for hiring her because when she wrote articles for her prior employer, he never had to change them. All he had to do was put them in the printer and print them. So, and I have noticed through the Aurora paper, some similar things. So, when I see an article in the Aurora paper, I know who wrote it. Bill.
This is in regards to Paul's comment. Dave definitely is in charge of all the staff. But we are in charge of taxpayers' dollars. So it is our responsibility. The staff is the vast majority of our budget.
I understand that, but at the same time, he's got to have the staff to run it. We've got to leave it to him to know what he needs.
And I'll refine my comments. I don't have any interest, and I don't think that the board has any interest in evaluating staff, and that was a poor choice of words by me. I was just more speaking about a lot like some of the other folks said. Bill, Richard, and Kendall, and everybody is our budget goes. A large portion of it is done through staff, and so that I thought that was demanded board purview is how do we allocate the resources and staff the district in the best way possible. And that was more what I was trying to say originally, so.
Do you have a comment, Kendall? Did you have a comment?
And I would probably just relay mine as just like what level of creativity, like we can use Crystal as a great example, because in some ways she maybe could have served another NRD extremely well too in that position. So like where we've thought about like the forestry position, like if we hire someone, can we partner with someone else that they can do that type of good for more than just us, and that type of working relationships. It's more so just the idea of like what type of creativity can be done to try and make jobs happen. And same as his, like just the efficiency use of it, what you have to adjust. I don't want to change or evaluate how everybody did. And it's just a matter of if there's anything that can be adjusted for operating business so that business can be done in a just as good a level, but with a little less dollars spent. So.
I don't think I see any other comments.
I got one.
Oh, it's good.
I guess just to be clear, it sounds like there's enough consensus here that this needs to be talked about and put on the agenda, right?
That's fine. It's on the agenda.
Okay.
We'll move on. We'll get into your report. Oh, investments.
Investments, there's a monthly financial statement attached, and Dave updated the committee on the status of the installation process. You wanna Tell us a little bit more about that, Dave.
Yeah, the foaming and fire retardant has been placed in the entire building, except for the 4x4 square above that sprinkler head that was pushed up against the rafters. The sprinkler people came in this morning. They have lowered or maybe even removed that sprinkler. I'm not for sure which one they did. Sorry. Cleaning ladies have cleaned the entire building. It is very clean compared to what it was. We still are waiting ceiling tile to be reinstalled. They were scheduled to be here today, but for some reason they called up and said that they would like to put it forth to next week. Questions on the process? Everything has gone fairly smoothly. They were here approximately 10 working days. They did work the weekend, the Friday and Saturday of last week. At the most, I think there was 18 workers in the attic, when there was 3 crews coming across the building.
So do you think, is there a noticeable difference that you've noticed yet, or?
Well, it was kind of ironic. I was here yesterday. Of course, all the electrical appliances were down, all the computers were down. I sat and tried to listen with the wind howling like it was. I could not hear the wind moving. Well, you can't hear the wind move. I could not hear. Never mind. You know what I'm trying to say. I didn't feel any drafts either, so.
The sprinkler, was that something damaged while they were doing work, or that happened previously to that?
I have tried to go up the ladder on that. No one claims responsibilities. In fact, the fire suppression agency didn't know how it hadn't froze yet, because it was forced up through the fiberglass insulation that was existing there. It probably only had a ½ inch between that and the sheeting of the old ceiling.
There's no water in it, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, there is? I
Yeah.
thought it was a dry system.
No, this system in here is a wet system. Yes. The process that they came out this morning, they came out and turned off the water supply to it, which forced it out on to the sidewalk right out here by the outside door, underneath the snow, because the guy was worried that it was frozen up, and it was not. Then he crawled up there, he removed or changed the nozzle space. I don't know what he did. I was not up there. I was down here. He came down and asked me to sign the thing, and I asked him whether it was completed. He said that he had energized the system again and he had no leaks. So
It was probably initial installation.
there's a lot of things in this building that nobody will take credit for or blame for.
It was good reason, because they get blamed for it.
Yeah.
So when we're spending $500,000 on this, is there some guarantee that this is gonna work?
There is a 1-year workmanship guarantee on the actual physical workmanship. There's a 5-year guarantee on the product of the foam and the fire retardant.
Starting what day?
Starting the day that they'll pull out and I sign off on it, which is not yet, because the ceiling isn't completed yet. That's one thing I should have told you. We have 2 drywall cracks that need to be fixed, not a suspended ceiling. We also have a crawl space in the fire wall between the 2 portions of the building that they created a catwalk that'll have to be re-drywalled and fireproofed again. But that's all work to be done. It's in the process of being done. Other questions?
Talking to the staff, they're very happy to be back at their regular workstations, and they were very pleased with the cleaning crew.
So it's a different question. Okay, I got on yesterday, I'm on the Instagram. There was, you guys, the office open at 1 PM?
No.
Oh, you didn't?
I scheduled yesterday morning, I scheduled everybody to come in at 1 PM. Then I reevaluated it probably be about 10:30, 11 o'clock. And I called the whole day off yesterday. We couldn't have got.
That's what I thought.
Safely,
No way.
we couldn't have got into town anyhow.
That's what I thought. I'm just curious, how does that work with, when you call a day off for, with staff? I mean, they have to take a paid vacation day or how, I mean, I'm just curious what,
No,
it just,
It is, we have a category that's called weather closing.
okay, I forget, okay.
And it has to be called on by me. Unless I'm out of state, then it's Marie's job to call it. But it's just like paid time off.
Okay.
Only it doesn't go against their vacation. It doesn't go against their comp time. It's time away from the office.
Well, that was a good call yesterday, but I got that on Instagram and I thought, they're opening at 1 in this mess.
So for instance, the hospital, we were closed yesterday. I don't have to take PTB tomorrow. I can if I want, but I don't have to. So that's just weather related.
Yeah, I just hadn't forgot about how that's worked and it's
And
no problem.
I was informed. Crystal.
I was just gonna say, I'm glad somebody's paying attention to our Instagram, though yesterday was not the best day for it, considering I posted that and then 15 minutes later, we lost power and internet for the rest of the day, so I couldn't update it when it was updated and we weren't opening for the day, so that was unfortunate, and I was hoping nobody had seen it.
Well, I was sitting in a my cold house and I said, they're open today. I couldn't see 20 foot out my window.
No?
You don't have anything else there, do you? You done, Bill?
I got plenty more.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and then just, not that it matters.
You can see the
No,
list
it's
of
nothing to do with this, but I thought that was hilarious, but I went last night and I got so darn cold in the house, I went at 8 o'clock at night and sat in a pickup for an hour turning it on.
All right, you can see the list of upcoming events. The meeting adjourned at 11:55. That concludes my report.
I believe we went over most of the executive items there. Financial statement. We have a statement of bills. But go ahead, Nancy, please explain what we get.
This, we did not get the combined financial report from Mira. They just weren't able to get it done. So we have everything, but there's like 3 pages that are missing out of here. It just has more of like the assets and liabilities. But this will show you all the bills that to be paid. It's got the investments and any of the payroll liabilities and then the accounts receivable.
The one file when you sent the 2 files, the first one I couldn't open up. Is it too large for my phone? And when it says it won't, it's unable to open up and my computer was down yesterday, so I don't know if that would anybody else have trouble?
I wasn't gonna be able to download anything yesterday.
Well, I was gonna try it on my home computer on my email, but on my phone, there was a second one open up, but the first one, it says unable to open this file. It says too large. It's what, on my phone, maybe I got a wrong program. Yeah, but it didn't open it up.
That's having trouble with that.
Yeah, so I don't know what was going on.
Well, you sent it out before yesterday. Didn't I get it?
Yeah, it was
Monday, didn't I get it?
it was either Monday or,
Monday or-
up Monday afternoon.
but did anybody else have trouble opening it?
So the motion should be to just pay bills.
They set the accounts payable and the financial report, so I guess we could leave it the way it is.
Okay. Give you a minute to look them over. Got any questions?
Hey, Nancy, there's 2 identical entries for hats at $530, or half of them, are they supposed to be identical entries?
They were split 50-50. Part of it went to director's expense and part of it went to the administration. Mhm.
We get new cowboy hats?
Well, we were supposed to pick those up today and they didn't get them.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to pay bills. Any other comments, questions? Roll call.
Richard Bohaty,
Yes.
Eberspacher,
Yes.
Houdersheldt, Kuehner,
Yes.
Bohaty,
Yes,
Perry, yes, Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stair,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony Bohaty,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Carried.
Josh, I see you made your way up. How is the roads coming north?
They were not bad.
Oh, stoplight still out?
Yeah,
There's-
yeah. This morning, there's plenty of trucks halfway off the road and such, but the highway itself was fairly clear. Just a couple spots. I know by Bruning, they had trucks that were stuck there, so they didn't get cleaned right away. You can tell where that, half mile there stretch, they didn't get cleaned and it was a little rougher, but other than that, it was pretty good. So. What we're working on right now is, we got the RCPP pre-approvals. We're working on getting those obligated, getting those contracted. As well as working on our local funds with EQIP and some state funds. Got a few of those pre-approved. We're starting to review those applications, get them, wrote and obligated. IRA funds, which was majority of our funds in the last couple of years, those are still on hold. And we don't know what that means, but we do know that we are not able to obligate any contracts there, so. If, you guys have been watching the news, it's all over the news, but, the budget resolution was approved last Friday, so we continue to function through the end of the year. Just with a lot of unknowns, so, but, Rob keeps us fairly updated. From Rob's point of view, we are continuing to function as we always have, so, if you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to stop through. Probationary employees, and everything that I'm gonna tell you is everything that's been publicly announced and sent out. It was announced, I believe last week, that was overturned and we are bringing them back on. It's gonna take a lot longer to bring them back on than it did to release them, but they are in unpaid status right now. And we're working on bringing them back on.
So the question is how many would want to cut back on? Because it's highly likely that that ruling will be
Can we
overturned.
use the microphones when we're, both of you guys?
Oh, I said, how many actually would want to come back because it's very likely that that ruling gets overturned?
I wouldn't wanna speak for any of them. I've worked with the ones that were within our area that were released. Everybody's situation is gonna be different. Depends on their location, if they had other opportunities that it came up with them in the meantime, but, yeah, it would. The rest is just personal opinion, so.
Well, I mean, it's not whether, no matter which way you stand, it's not fair to them that we're juggling between judges. It's kind of BS in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a tough situation for them to be in. As well as the uncertainty is probably the biggest thing with everything going on right now. But I guess I just reiterate that we are in the office, we are functioning as much as we can, as normal as we can, and trying to get conservation on the ground.
So my understanding is that stuff that was, the programs that was come from that, what was that, Inflation Reduction
Inflation
Act?
Reduction Act,
was-
IRA,
Was that has been,
it's been put on hold.
that's been put on hold, but EQIP program, because I know Brooke Rollins, that was from other, had nothing to do with that, that's all been refunded, right? Is that correct?
So there's two different funding sources that we had within the last couple of years. We have our general EQIP funds, which is what we've always functioned off in the last 20 some years that EQIP's been here. I start aging myself here, but, probably in the early 2000s, that funding changed a little bit and we started the EQIP program. That's been our general EQIP. How we handle it in the state of Nebraska, each state handles it a little bit differently. But, they allocate funds based off of resource concerns throughout the state. And they divvy up those funds. Those funds have always been there. They may change depending on administration, budget each, time, farm bill. But that's been consistent and that's what we are still continuing to obligate right now. The IRA funds were additional funds on top of that we got 2 years ago. I believe.
About a year ago, wasn't it? Year and a half,
Year ago,
year and a half ago.
we got additional funds 2 years ago, I believe, that we funded some. But then we were really ramped up for it for last year, and then we were expecting that again this year.
So the question is some of that stuff, I mean, was there any stuff that you guys approved that someone started and then the funding was just done? I mean, how does that work out?
So originally, those that we obligated, they put a temporary stop on those. I'd have to look back on dates, but that was removed. So anybody that's completed work, I'm sure you've seen some of the news articles that came out. They're getting paid and, it was it was towards the end of February, they released that. We probably had a 3-week gap there that we didn't make payments. Very minimal impact on us within the upper big wolf, I can tell you that. But we're continuing to install and make payments on those current contracts that we have on those. In this district, no, and, it's still yet to be determined if we are going to lose other ones. I believe there's only one other one on the list in the state of Nebraska with, that NRCS was involved with.
Any other questions for Josh? None? Thank you.
I will keep you as informed as I can be, but, a lot of it does come from, I will tell you this, just to end it, Rob's being very transparent with us and having meetings with us, letting us know what's going on as much as he does. But there is a lot of uncertainty and we learn a lot of these things. For instance, our probationary periods, our probationary employees, it was in the news before we got final notification.
So you guys get
sometimes
memos from the state office or DC or what?
It depends on the situation.
See, I know like
Sometimes
the FSA office is Seward regarding anything, I can find out more from Ag Web than I can from them. Cause they just don't get it. It's kind of disappointing.
Yes.
That's pretty normal with the federal government.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Are there any concerns of further staff cuts?
I think there's a lot of uncertainty, so I would say yes. I mean, but it's all speculation. Nobody knows. I think it's bigger part of it is we don't know. And so it causes a lot of undue stress, or maybe it will happen. We don't know. So, each agency was told that we needed to, come up with a plan, which we have a strategic plan, but they asked us to renew that, and I believe that was due last week, so. I think we gotta remember that there's a lot of new staff in there that are still trying to get comfortable. And when I say new staff, I'm talking in DC. And then I hope once they're settled in, our agencies will settle in a little bit more too, with some certainty on what's gonna happen.
Any other comments for Josh? Not, thanks again. Paul, what's in our NARD got going?
Board met Monday, March 10th. Discussed preliminary budget numbers a little bit. There's some uncertainty with that with federal grants. So they're working on that. Concentrate the tree program, tree numbers are down this year. Speculation is because of the drought that's been happening. The Producers Connect that many of the other NRDs went together with NARD to create is completed. Each NRD is kind of customizing it themselves, and they hope to roll it out for reporting next fall. Basin tour is scheduled for June 9th and 10th at the Middle Niobrara NRD.
That's where,
Middle Niobrara.
what town?
Valentine's, where it'll be based
Oh,
out of.
Valentine.
So details of that should be coming out soon. Dave mentioned this last week a little bit. NRD sponsors poll, I believe, or something, at the annual Corn Growers Golf Open. It's in York this year on August 8th. And I think they said we could have one position or something if somebody wanted to attend that.
That's on a Friday, I think.
Yes.
When's the deadline to know that you guys need to know by for that?
Doesn't say.
Doesn't say.
Before it fills up.
Well, you know. Okay. So with us dealing with the nitrogen plant over in Aurora, just let you know that other districts are dealing with this too. Central Platte up by Gothenburg, somebody's planning an aviation fuel plant. They're fully appropriated, so nobody knows what they're gonna do for water. Also, there's a second nitrogen plant. Nobody said what district, but it's another fully appropriated district, so this was very large water use like this one, so they would have to buy a ton of land to use any water, so.
Do they have to buy irrigated ground?
They have to retire irrigation ground
Ground the rights.
to get the water rights, yep,
Oh, yeah, they still, they will be irrigated.
yep. So. That's all I got this month unless somebody has questions.
Teresa.
On the large water user that you just were mentioning, so are they looking at updating rules, or are they looking to you for guidance?
It was brought up so that they knew that we were working on our rules too, but so everybody looks at it, because many districts don't have rules, or they're very vague. So it was brought up for that reason, but yeah.
Any other questions, Paul? Okay. Public comments. Anyone may comment in any manner that's not on the agenda. However, the board action cannot be taken till the following board meeting according to Nebraska Open Meetings Law, unless the board declares an emergency. Anyone have any comments? Seeing any chairman's report? Don't have a whole lot. We did have the hearing this morning for those of you who were unable to make it. Don Blankenau was our hearing officer. Had a lady from Shelby came in and was our reporter. We had 3 testifiers. Guess who? Angie, Tina, and Terry. So they were all supportive of what we were doing. So we held it open for a half hour and nobody else showed up. So that's about all I got, unless somebody else wants to bring something up. Yeah, go ahead.
Did you have any written testimonies or no?
We have not received any written testimony to my knowledge. We do send this by statute to DNR and DEE. And they have the opportunity to comment. And we have to give them that opportunity before we can vote on it. They have not responded yet. Don says sometimes it's months, sometimes it's a week or two, just depending on what tickles their fancy at that time, I guess, so, yeah. Go ahead.
As long as we give them reasonable time, we do not. And many times, if it takes 3 or 4 or 5 months, the action's already been taken on by the board. We file it and we move on.
Terry?
Yeah, I did ask Don about that. I will follow up with both agencies and encourage their fastest turnaround as possible. Basically, like Don and I talked, we'll probably have it on our committee agenda for April, and then we'll be able to take action on it at the April board meeting, and then it has to be 30 days from the time of the action till it actually goes into effect, so. Correct.
Any other questions? Just a reminder, next month we go to evening meetings. We will go back to Water Committee on Tuesday, which will be April 8th. And projects and programs and exec will be on April 10th. So. There's no other comments. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.